We got one here from Mike Parker who says, can't stay on long tonight. Just want to say I'm excited about the signing of Mariah May. Been following her since she broke in. Very hard worker and an absolute sweetheart in real life. Great exposure for her. All right, Mike Parker sent in a very generous super chat, so let's get to it. We're going to talk about Mariah May making her All Elite Wrestling debut. So this had already been reported for the most part in the news cycles. It had been making the rounds for the last, I don't know, month or so. I feel like I've been seeing this on wrestling news sites and everything. And so it's pretty highly speculated that Mariah May was AEW bound. And it was also highly speculated that she would be aligned with Toni Storm. And so the way that they introduced her here is she was being interviewed by RJ City, who introduced her. And she basically says, like, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. And RJ starts to think it's about him, but it's actually about Toni Storm. And so Mariah May is kind of this fangirl for Toni Storm. And RJ City says, okay, I'm going to have you meet Toni Storm. And she's like, oh my God, I'm going to meet Toni Storm. She gives RJ City a kiss and on the cheek, of course. And that's pretty much her AEW debut. What was your reaction to the way that they brought her in? Because clearly, if you're up to date with wrestling news, we already knew she was coming in.
Yeah, I kind of like how they introduced her here, Denise, because usually we get like, we've gotten a couple different ways that they debut people. Sometimes they just straight up put out the graphic, blah, 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 is All Elite. We've had people run in during segments and all this. I like that AEW never tries to act like their fan base is dumb. They're like, they know who this person is. We could put them on TV, say who they are, run down a couple of their accomplishments, and they're going to be caught up. And that's how I felt here. Mariah May is a huge signing. When I went on Twitter immediately afterwards, my whole timeline was like, Mariah May, awesome. Mariah May, so cool. Happy that Mariah May is in AEW. So it seems like a really big deal off rip. And people were talking about her being connected with Toni Storm, just like not even any rumors or anything. They just wanted that. And so for them to be connected immediately off rip, I think we're cooking right here. And beyond that, she's a great worker and we're going to get to see her shine. She's a future AEW Women's World Champion. Like, she's a big deal.
That is like the number one thing that I have been hearing about Mariah May is that she is a good worker. Like anybody who brings her up, that's the first thing that they say. And I follow Mariah May on Twitter. I've been following her now for a while. And I know that some of the criticisms that she gets is because people think, oh, because she's so beautiful that she can't be this great wrestler, which is freaking crazy. You can be beautiful and a great wrestler, FYI. Of course, that's only to the weirdo trolls on the internet that send those kind of messages, right? But she's only 25 years old. And when you think about that, and when you think about where she's gotten and where she's going to get, do you think Mariah May is going to be one of the people that starts to maybe force some change in the direction of AEW women's division, in the sense that, well, if we've got somebody like a Mariah May and we add her to the women that we already have, do you think we're going to be seeing more of a better representation, more of a presentation for the women's division?
I think this is a step in the right direction, Denise. At least, like, what did we just say a few minutes ago? We got 3 women's segment in the show. That's pretty rare that they give it up like that. They presented her as a big deal. Toni Storm has already been kind of dominating the TV segment. So, yeah, I think it's a step in the right direction, honestly. Mariah May, apparently they signed Megan Bain, I think I've heard some rumors about, who's also a dope thing. We got Mercedes still looming in the lexicon of wherever she is. So, like, I think, like, in the next couple months, we're going to see some moves that are going to force them to do it, Denise. They're not even going to have a choice because they're like, well, now we got all these cool stars. We got all these people that people want to see on TV. We got to force their hand with these great women's wrestlers.
Right. And here's the thing, like Tony Khan is very active on social media. We see his social posts all the time. So the way that I see it is like, if you want to see a certain talent more specifically with the women, tweet that shit, right, Raj? Put it out there. I want to see Mariah May. I want to see Chris Statlander. I want to see more Emi Sakura, Hikaru Shida, whoever the hell it is that you want to see. Because we know that in pro wrestling, anytime there's a conversation surrounding something, whenever there's a buzz surrounding something, dude, people capitalize off of that shit. That works very, very well in the wrestling world. When people start to get some buzz, what does everybody want? A piece of that.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, we've seen stuff happen off of signs in the crowd, Denise. Like there's all these moments like if we just voice our opinions and make it happen, then some kind of change is going to happen. And like I said, going on Twitter after Mariah May debuted was a good sign for me because everybody was super excited about it.
And since we're on the topic of Mariah May, we did get a backstage contract signing between Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. And this was done, this was fun. This was done in black and white. And of course, Toni Storm being Toni, being dramatic. And she signed her little contract, but before she does, she I think she licked it, or I don't know what she did with the pen. She did something and she signs it, right? But the whole time she's telling Shida, this is you, you're always getting in the way of things. You're not going to get in the way anymore. And Shida, when she signs it, I thought it was a nice little extra touch. So she was like, ugh. And that happens because people always put pens in their mouth and then they hand them to you. Pens go around. All right. They go around.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing, throughout the pandemic and stuff like that is chilled, you know what I mean? Because it used to be I'll suck on a pen, give it to you, but now it's yo, keep your pen to yourself. I got my own pen. I thought Shida in this whole thing, Denise, hasn't she been great? Every time that Toni Storm's music hits, she's annoyed by it. This whole thing she was annoyed by. Just her being annoyed by Toni Storm is awesome. And Toni Storm is she winning the championship next week, Denise?
I don't know. I go back and forth on this one because I don't feel like she totally needs it. I think the character is so dramatic that she's going to be dramatic with or without the championship.
Correct.
So I don't know. I'm still undecided.
Would
I gotta
you do
think
it
a little bit more? If I was Toni?
Yeah. No, if you were Tony Khan, would you put the belt on Toni Storm?
I would actually surprise everybody and keep it on Shida. But then I
because you think it's not a surprise if Toni Storm wins,
right? I don't think it's a surprise if Toni Storm wins. But then again, she's gold right now, and if she doesn't win, people are gonna be like, "What the fudge? Toni Storm is the shit, and you didn't get her the title."
It's in Hollywood, I mean? There's all the things, all
so
the elements. She kind of
has to. Yeah. See, now I went back on my own booking decision.
I surprised her actually after I thought for 3 seconds. No, keep it.
You see, easily convinced. You threw me a hard ball, and all of a sudden I'm like, shit, please do never cross-examine me. The lawyer will be just getting me going in all different directions here. We got Yes Boy in here who says, is Mariah May the new Mickie James? Denise, have you ever met girls with this obsessive personality? Ooh, I don't know if I have. I'm sure I have. I went to public school. There was a lot of very mean girls out there, and I was bullied by a lot of them. No, in LA, are you kidding me? There's some real mean girls out there. Holy dang. But I saw a couple of people mentioning this on my timeline with the whole thing about Trish, Mickie James 2.0, right? Because you got Trish, who's the person that's being idolized, and Mickie James idolizing. And that could be the situation that we see here with Toni Storm and Mariah May. However, the thing with Trish and Mickie James, though, was that Trish found it freaking weird. Toni Storm is obsessed with herself. She's going to love the attention. She's going to be like, oh, yes, darling, this is how you throw the shoe, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's going to be telling a different story because when Mickie James came in, she did, hardcore wrestling fans knew who she was, but for the most part, she was kind of unknown. Mariah May is coming in being like, I was a Stardom champion. I'm this big deal. It's different if she just becomes this lackey, so to speak. I'm looking her to be next to her, her partner, co-star type deal.
Yes. What if we see a situation where Toni Storm becomes champion, right? And she's going out there and she's doing her thing. And we see Mariah May. Basically, we see Toni Storm go from a hero that she idolizes to maybe all of a sudden she starts treating her like dirt because she's a diva, and she starts to maybe treat her as if she doesn't know how to be a great wrestler, and maybe doesn't know what Mariah May is capable of, right? And storyline. And then all of a sudden Mariah May is like, I'm done being the understudy in all of this. I want to be the top act. And then that's how we get into a program with Toni Storm and Mariah May.
Denise, you got a pencil and pen over there. You're getting down. You just booked a whole little angle over here. Denise is trying to get paid. What's up with that? That was good.
It's the bun. It's the bun.
Denise is cooking. I'm like, oh, yo, that's pretty good.
Because I can see it, right? I can see it. Right. Basically, what do they say? Never meet your heroes. Right. It can start off nicely, but or how about this? Mariah May starts doing good. She gets the matches, and all of a sudden, Toni Storm starts to get jealous, right? Because she's supposed to be a diva. She's supposed to be at the very top. What's worse than being on top and a younger person, a new person with talent coming in and trying to take your spot?
Wow, Denise booked 2 of these, y'all. I don't know what Denise is on tonight, but she out here cooking with fire. So you think that Toni Storm is winning the belt because both of those are Toni Storm championship situations.
Right, there you go. So man, I guess I made my own decision. It's got to be Toni Storm. When I started this podcast, I'm like, yeah, it's Hikaru Shida. And 20 minutes later, it's Toni Storm.
And you convinced yourself is the best part.
Yeah, I certainly did. Oh, hey, did you enjoy that clip that you just saw? That was a clip from my podcast, Speak Now Pro Wrestling. You can go ahead and watch the entire episode by checking out the links in the description box. Until next time, I'm Denise Salcedo, and please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Catch you on the next one.